Welcome to the third quarterly update of 2025 with Peace River Regional District Board Chair Leonard Hiebert. Chair Hiebert, thank you for joining me today for the third update of 2025.
It's my pleasure, Caitlin. As we transition into fall, it's a good time to reflect on the progress we've made and start to look ahead. From the adoption of the regional growth strategy to productive meetings with provincial ministers, we're seeing results from our efforts that I'm happy to share these updates and advancements with our residents.
All right. So to start us off, we have the regional growth strategy adoption. Congratulations for that. It is a landmark achievement. Can you tell us what this means for the future of the region?
It was adopted on July 17th of 2025 at our board meeting. What this is high-level long-term projections, whether it is for population growth, economic growth, employment projections. There's 9 goals that were laid out by the community. As much as we'd like to say it was us as staff and elected officials that did it, it was the residents of the Peace River Regional that laid out these 9 goals. Community building, economic strength, agriculture and food, living well, infrastructure and services, ecosystem health, transportation mobility, climate resiliency, and regional collaboration. So over the next year, we're going to see staff starting to action some of these strategy items into what we're doing. And then, like every plan that we have in place, there's an accountability with an annual report every year.
Wonderful. And you've also been advocating for the region with provincial ministers. Can you share some of the key priorities you've been advancing and any progress to report on those areas?
Every September, we have what we call UBCM, which is Union of Municipalities of British Columbia. I wish they would change that one to local governments associations because that would make a lot easier. Every year, we meet with ministers to bring our concerns, our advocacies towards them during that time frame. This year, we had actually 8 items that we did. I'm not going to go through them all. I'll kind of take off the top. Resource development and economic growth. We had supported Tumbler Ridge in putting forward the Kanuma coal mine permitting. Getting that as pushed further. They got another what they call a bridge permit, which helped for small term or short term. But we're really looking on getting those certainty for those companies so that they can reinvest the funds so they can keep the mines going. Employment is going to be a big one. If we have any more mines shut down in our area, it's not going to be good for our economic growth. When it comes to wind farm development, economic impacts that might have, what cumulative impacts that might have, and socio, community, it's kind of more than just one level. But the making sure that the natural resources are here to stay and keep bringing money back in, but not depleting what we have, and that sometimes is a hard balance to have.
Yeah.
The other one that we did was the healthcare, community well-being. Rural healthcare is a big issue, not just in BC, but right across Canada. Making sure we keep our doctors, making sure our family practice organizations are having volunteers that can help. When the doctors come in, that they have supports when they're doing that transition. Sometimes doctors leave their their partners, families back until they can get settled and come in. And then seniors aging in place. Like we're seeing a lot of issues where province says, well, we have to deal with it, and they're willing to spend billions of dollars, and they're struggling to support, programs that we can do here locally. I know Fort St. John, Dawson Creek, and now at the regional district, we have seniors aging in place. Little more funding that, sometimes those billion-dollar projects don't necessarily have to be there, or they can be cut back where we're not spending as much money. Public safety and infrastructure is addressing repeat offenders. We have high crime rate, but when you look at the data that's being presented to us all the time, it seems like it's a few individuals doing a lot of crime and making it look really bad when it's, it's just those few individuals. And if we can get them off the streets, But you talk to even our provincial counterparts from the federal government. They're saying the federal government is the one that has to take the step to make those changes. And so they're pushing to make sure those changes are coming and are happening. So until we see those definite changes, we're going to be in the same boat, and frustrations are going to follow. But as the regional district, we have to keep advocating to make sure that we can, no matter how we can do it to get them off the streets, so that our streets are safer for everybody. The other one that we approached was BC Hydro for increased funding or grants, I guess, in lieu of taxes.
Yes.
With the increased production that they're having out of their Site C. We're not asking for a lot. We're just saying if you're producing 10% more, just leave 10% more in our region so that we have the option to, offer more services to people. And, the other one that we met with was recognizing regional districts as a local government with a voice. It seems a lot of struggles that we have been having with the provincial government sometimes is they recognize municipalities, they recognize mayors, they recognize councillors. They don't recognize necessarily the regional districts, the chair, vice chair, or even the directors at times. One positive that I can honestly say with the regional district is our mayors and councillors that sit at the table, if they have ministers coming in and meeting with them, they let us know so that we can reach out and see if we can connect with them. So that relationship with us at the board table, I believe, is really, really good. And that gets us that extra step sometimes into to have those conversations that we normally would not have in the beginning, which is a really good positive. Not all regional districts have that working relationship. So I think that's really good. A couple other ones I want to mention is agriculture. We've been in a drought situation now for quite a few years. Food security, when you can't grow enough food and you're having to sell livestock because you don't have enough hay to feed. The food security aspect of it is quite a bit, it's a concern. And the minister was really good in allowing us to bring those concerns forward. But also we didn't get time to talk about beaver dams and how important they would be to bringing, filling up those sloughs and maintain those water. We ran out of time before that. And so I think for me, it's now is the time to get back up and follow up with those ministers. If we wait and do nothing, nothing will be done. And to me, that's a concern right now because, you have the strike going on with the staff and provincial government and stuff. So that's a concern. Advocacy is our big thing. And if we're just going to wait for them to respond and not do anything, we'll be waiting for nothing. And so to me, that's a concern.
Okay. And talking about kind of in the future, there is elections for board chair and vice chair perching. What can you tell us about that process for anyone who might not know?
It's an annual event.
Yeah.
Some people think that once you're elected as chair, it's automatic for the 4-year term. Regional districts every year have to elect a board chair and a vice chair annually, and that happens the first meeting of November. And so it's coming up here next week.
Yes.
So I might not be the one sitting in here after that. Come spring, but it's and I think it's what you do as a chair that promotes regional concerns, regional advocacy as a whole. And the board has to feel confident that you can deal with this. And so that's why sometimes it changes. And sometimes, I don't know why the board decides to do it, but once a decision's made, like any democracy that we live in, it happens. And I think we've lucked out over the last, I'm going to say probably 10, 12 years with really good chairs all the way along, as well as vice chairs. The depth that we get, I think we've been blessed all the way through.
Wonderful. So that's something to look forward to next month. We're coming to winter. There's snow on the ground. Wildfire season is slowly dying down to a close. How did the region fare? Kind of what lessons do you as the board and the regional district learn, and what progress was made?
I think overall, this spring, the communication aspect didn't quite kick off the way we would like to, but once we got that resolved, it was much better. But we still need the moisture. We need Mother Nature to help us. We're still promoting, making sure you keep your, your properties fire smarted. Make sure that you don't have fuels lying around that you can control and take care of. Making sure that, I'm always concerned we've been at a drought so long that all of a sudden we're going to get a flash flood and we're not going to be ready or thinking about that. So making sure that we're looking at the whole gamut of, possibilities that might happen in emergency, that we don't just focus on one, that we focus on them all. Because all it takes is, 3-4 days of really hard rain and we'll be flipped out. We got too much water and we're flooding. So don't forget about that as well. And we're getting quite a bit of moisture here the last couple of weeks or a week and a half, and that's definitely helping. But we do have some fires that are still burning, and when I'm talking to the boots on the ground, so to speak, they're feeling that they might actually smolder right through again until next year. Wow. But that could change depending on the amount of moisture we get.
Okay, so fingers crossed for that. On a happier note, can you update us about the progress for the recently announced senior housing beds in Fort St. John?
The most I can say right now is that they got approved and they're working on getting the next steps in line. So basically from my last update, it hasn't changed other than it got approved. And right now they're working through getting everything in lined up to get, I guess the companies in place and ready to get the next steps on the ground.
Okay, perfect. And another big project is the North Winds Wellness Center.
Correct.
They are working on construction, I believe, in Puskupi. They have a couple more projects going. How is that progress?
It's actually really, if you've ever driven through Puskupi, it's since spring or since June actually, when we had our groundbreaking, it just took off.
Wonderful.
They're looking at occupancy or using the facility by fall of 2026.
Wow.
And so with the progress they're making right now, when you see it, you can see that they're really going. But I think the nice weather we've had in fall so far hasn't slowed them down much. So when it cools or gets cold, I think that'll slow down a little bit. But the progress is really, really good. And their target is, I'm going to say fall, because if it delays a little bit, it might be spring of 27. But I think their initial target right now is fall of 2026.
Wonderful. I'm glad they're making such good progress. Another thing that PRRD has been working on is strengthening communication with residents. How is that going, and how is the new website going as well? I know that was one of the things you were working on.
Yeah, it got launched at the end of August, beginning of September. I've been on it quite a bit because I need to look for different things. I find it easier, but the one thing I found in this one is the search bar. I punch in what I'm looking for and it comes up. It takes 3 steps down to 1. But it is user friendly. Tried getting myself locked out of there. It didn't work. So it tells me that when staff was really taking the information back from the residents and saying, we're not finding what we're needing, we need to take those steps. That communication piece is going to be crucial for residents that are looking for permitting, that are looking for bylaws. They're not going to have to spend an hour trying to find it somewhere on the website. So to me, it's really, really good. The accessibility is good, and the mobile friendly piece. When I'm working on stuff like that, I like to have quick access, and usually that's my phone because you carry that with you all the time. And it works really, really well. The other thing is it doesn't eliminate the other avenues of communication, right? So I still like the face-to-face, the open door policy, the two-way communication. It's just another avenue to make sure that, the transparency piece, I keep hearing on a regular basis is very important to the residents. And any government organization, no matter how good we think we are at communication, we can always do better. And that's something that I think we have to take to heart, because if we don't give the information to the residents, then all of a sudden things start getting plugged in, and now we're fighting something that's not true or misinformation.
Yep.
And I'm one of the people that I might not like to hear what there is, but at least I know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can make my own decisions what I want to do going forward. So to me, it's just another avenue, and that communication with our residents is very important.
Mm-hmm.
If they come into our office upset because of something that happened, we want to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to, okay, well, we're trying to figure out what they're saying and stuff.
Yep.
Like that direct approach, for me personally, is it's easy. I'm not guessing as to what's going on. And I think going back out to the communities and then talking to them as well, not shying away when there are issues. I think getting back into the community, having those, and sometimes it means rebuilding relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not always easily done.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to happen if we want to keep that communication flowing.
Okay. And kind of looking forward into the last chapter of 2025, what excites you the most about the winter season, and what are some of the remaining priorities for the PRRD in 2025?
Well, Christmas is coming, so that's always is one that really goes forward. Family time is very important to me, and I believe a lot of the directors on there as well. We have been working on the regional zoning bylaw, and that's something that, again, is another planning piece where we want the residents to be heavily involved in. The first phase, we had a lot of involvement, which to me is very, very important. It tells me that whatever we bring or what comes back to us is from the residents. Different, second homes. What does that look like? Spaces for storage. We have so much theft, so we've been getting a lot of DVPs asking for bigger areas to store our stuff so that, we can at least have it undercover. So all those and all that information coming back is very important. Hearing from residents so that we can set up what they're requesting and work within those parameters is very, very important. So whoever's seeing this, make sure you come in. And November, we have 15 different meetings that are already set up. Look on our website, get to the ones and get your input. It'll be very, very important. The other one I would like to mention is, as we transition into winter, travel time. Our region, as big as we are, we're constantly on the road, we're constantly travel. We've had already this week, fatality. We've had quite a few incidences with traffic. Take your time. Arrive alive is something that my wife tells me all the time.
Yeah.
And let's make sure we just get there. Our family wants to see us when we get home. Take the time to notice each other on the road, and make sure that you can say hi to your kids when you get home, which is very, very important. And most of all, I guess we're getting into our budget season.
Yes.
We started that in October, and it's not always easy when you have inflation keep going and you still want to keep the numbers at a half decent rate. And directors are working really, really hard with staff to make sure that our increases are going to be minimal. What can we do to change things? And sometimes we can, and sometimes we can't, and we have to have that explanation ready. For the last, I'm going to say probably 5 or 6 years, we've done a really, really good job of being stewards of our residents' taxpayers' dollars. And to me, we got to keep that going to make sure that our residents feel comfortable that we're using their money to the benefit of the whole region and what the services we do provide. So I think that kind of covers it all for me looking forward into the next quarter. And if I'm here again next time around, we'll follow up with that as well.
Well, wonderful. Thank you very much for joining me today.
You're welcome.